Peace. Assalamu alaikum. Shalom. Shalom. Namaste. Hotep. Jumbo. All the greetings of love and light to the darkest minds of the light. I am Napashada, and this morning, during my happy day today, I'm actually taking the time to do something interesting. I thought I might read a little bit from a book that I have and and tell you. Peace, Lady Kier. Can you and peace, Reese. Can you block that person right there for me? Who's gonna be listening to my lesson? So the whole thing that the person's saying is weird. So I thought I might go ahead and talk to you about the professor and the priest. I have a book um that I want to introduce to some people out here. Uh, Talking about the ancient times. But before I start talking about my book and the concept and the discussion, before I start discussing the priest and the professor, I want to tell you how absolutely beautiful this day is today. The sun is so unbelievably amazing, which we already know this. Like, the day is just perfect. The sun is shining and the sky is so beautiful. The sky is so blue. The Arizona clouds are like no other clouds ever. It's like a drawing, like blue sky and then fluffy clouds. And my drive into the city is amazing because I'm like in a basin. Well, all of Phoenix is really in a basin. It's called the Valley, but there are mountains, beautiful red and brown mountains. I just love this. I love looking at all of this, and so you can lose sight of such beautiful natural phenomenon like mountains and blue skies and the sun. Like we think we know all about the sun and the sky, but we don't. It's still phenomenal. You know, we think we figured it all out. Oh, the earth is round. Oh, the earth is flat. But we haven't figured it out. It's still remarkably mysterious and phenomenal. So I just wanted to let you know that the day is so beautiful. All right. The preacher, oh no, I'm sorry, the priest and the professor, or the professor and the priest. Now, I'm I'm sure some people in this community have are familiar with this book that I'm about to start sharing some information from, but not the guy who was just in the chat. And definitely not. Is it really? That's awesome. I'm glad it's a beautiful day where you are, sister. Um, you hear so much about pseudo, and we have this debate coming up between Ankh and Seku. Separation, or which is better for the people. I don't even know the actual title, but it's like science or spirituality. So keep your eyes open. This isn't a competition so much, but people in this community, like the guy you just saw in the chat, I'm not going to say his name. They act like I don't have any information, and they taught me stuff. I'm talking about the men. They taught me things, but this book is by Joshua Bowen, and Joshua Bowen himself actually sent me this book, and it really was very helpful and useful for me during my debate against Christine and Nick. So I've been trying to learn more and more Sumerian writing, just getting acquainted with it. And this is a great book, but really also it talks to you about the job of the priest. Let me get to it, right? So the job, the responsibilities of the priest, and the what we would call today the teacher. There was no separation from spirituality from secular world, so to speak. All right. So today we don't really do that. We have like, okay, is it spiritual or is it science? But the darkest minds of the light, and most of us who are tuned in, we know there is no separation from science and spirit. They are the same. Let me go ahead and read the introduction on chapter 1. This book is Learning to Pray in a Dead Language, Education and Invocation in Ancient Sumerian. The connection between prayer and schools has been a hot button issue since their official separation in 1962. Many are in favor of restoring prayer in schools. Quote, 80% of the American people want Bible readings and prayer in the schools. Why should the majority be so severely penalized by the protests of a handful? Unquote. And that was actually Billy Graham who said that. So I do want to let you know I was raised in a school where prayer was always present. I was in Catholic school, so we studied the Bible. Oops. Okay, is everybody still here? Great. Yes, please thumb up the video. All right, so others, however, find the idea inappropriate. Quote, public schools exist to educate, not to proselytize. Children in public schools are a captive audience. Making prayer an official part of the school day is coercive and invasive. Unquote. That's Gaylor. Now, in the ancient world, however, there was no such distinction between the secular and the sacred, between the schoolhouse and the sanctuary. In ancient Iraq, in the early 2nd millennium BCE, a time known as the Old Babylonian period, we see that schools were not only places of learning about things like writing, grammar, and mathematics, but also about a wide variety of religious concepts. These religious concepts, contained in a largely oral religious tradition, became a fixed written liturgy through the process of scribal education. In fact, as we will see, the process of education had a profound effect upon the ways in which prayers were made to the gods and helped to shape traditions and perceptions important to Western civilization. Material, in particular, manuscripts from the Old Babylonian city of Kish, show patterns that exert influence upon scribal practices that became fixed in the 1st millennium BCE. This fixed canon was picked up on by biblical authors, in turn influencing not only the writers of the New Testament, but the civilizations and societies of Western Europe. So, basically, school and separation of church and state, I should say, is pretty much, as we know, as we see, brand new. And for so long, there was never a real distinction between what is sacred and so-called spiritual and what is basic ABCs of arithmetic, right? So let's go to this next section. I want to read this part. Schools and sanctuaries. What were ancient schoolhouses like? What would a student experience when he prepared for school, attended class, and did his exercises? What kind of exercises were assigned in schools 4,000 years ago? Were students still nervous about completing their assignments, performing well on tests, and making sure that their parents and teachers thought highly of their performance? What about the sanctuaries and the prayers that were performed in them? In many modern religious contexts, a priest is charged with making intercession for the people under his care. This is particularly evident in times of great difficulty. The people in the community may look to their priest to pray for their well-being, hoping to motivate their God to work on their behalf. The same was true in ancient Mesopotamia. Back then in Mesopotamia, they didn't know what the gods were going to do. The gods were really considered to be very capricious, like picky, um, changing their minds easily. So, excuse me, the priest was very important to placate the god, or as it says here, make intercession for the person. I'll go to your God. And that's the same as it is today, to be honest. Even these religions who say they don't have intercession, like they say they don't have a vicar of Christ, they still have a preacher that they go to. And the preacher is the one who is the leader who's so connected to God more than they are. You see this in all of these religions. You see it in the Hebrew Israelites. They have an elder who they go to, and the elder prays for them, and they think the elder has special connection to God. But the elder doesn't. Oftentimes the elder is more wicked than the other people who are going to the elder or the preacher. This book will focus on these two institutions, the schoolhouse and the sanctuary, in their ancient communities and two of their main roles, education and invocation. We will investigate early education and the process by which students were taught to read and write. We will also discover the roles and responsibilities of the priest who was charged with praying to the gods on behalf of the people of the city in an attempt to keep those same gods from bringing destruction and calamity upon the community. This book is by no means the first attempt at synthesizing this information. The past half century, in particular, has seen a great many of books and articles focusing on ancient students and priests. In fact, we now know a great deal about how the institutions functioned in many different cities from the early second millennium, and many scholars have painted a fairly clear portrait of what education and prayer was like during this period. One city which has not received this level of attention is the city of Kish. It flourished during the Old Babylonian period, which was circa 2000 to 1600 BCE. It was excavated, it was dug up, it was excavated by archaeologists in the early 20th century. Among other things, they discovered a large group of cuneiform tablets that contained composites in both the Sumerian and Akkadian languages. Among this group of tablets were many school exercises, along with a significant number of Sumerian prayers. So see, the exercises for the schoolwork were already blended in with prayer. These prayers were written in a special dialect of Sumerian known as Amisal, which was usually reserved for prayers that were offered to the gods by a group of priests known as Gala priests. Although several scholars have looked at individual or small groups of the tablets that were discovered at Kish, Neither the school exercises nor the Sumerian Amisal prayers had been studied as complete groups until few years ago. In 2017, however, I completed my dissertation, a preliminary survey of the Sumerian curricular and lamentational text from the old Babylonian city of Kish. Quite catchy title, right? It was in the dissertation that I began to look at these groups of texts as a whole. This book will utilize the data and conclusions that I compiled there. So I'm going to skip forward and let you hear chapter 2. Let's go to chapter 2. Going to school is perhaps one of the most influential and memorable experiences of our lives. Few things have had a more formative impact on me than the long and arduous ritual of waking up, getting ready, and going to school. Day after day, week after week, month after month. What we learn in those early years, both academically and socially, helps to shape and direct how we will think and act throughout the rest of our lives. So school is it's very impactful. It has a great impact on our lives. It's a huge part of our lives. If you really think about that, your school experience, your childhood experience is very much it includes obviously your school experience. So let me check the chat, see what everybody's saying. Sakina, peace to you. It's called by different names, yet it's an advisor the same. Teach Queen. Thank you. Good morning. Lady Care, peace and love. She says, right, it's purpose to shape your mind and behavior. Yes, it is. It is. That's why it's very important that we have the right school for our children. So let's keep reading this a little bit more. This chapter 2, it says, the same was true for the scribal students who attended school in ancient Mesopotamia. Now remember, this is thousands of years ago, family. While we may not know many of the precise details of what day-to-day life was like in these early schools, scholars have been able to piece together a great deal of information concerning the curriculum that was used and how it was taught. In addition, some of the literature from early Mesopotamia actually describes aspects of these ancient schools, including a story about a day in the life of a student. While information gleaned from literary texts must be used cautiously, it provides a glimpse into early education. Although we have evidence for the education of scribes from other periods in Mesopotamian history, the early second millennium BCE, known as the Old Babylonian period, has produced a great deal of textual and archaeological evidence for scribal education. It was also a time of development and formulation for the genre of Sumerian prayers that we will see in this next chapter. Because of this, I will focus my attention on scribal education as we know it from the Old Babylonian period, which was approximately 2000 to 1600 BCE. So we learned something, right? I mean, I read this before, but I hope you get the book, or I don't know, take heed of that. So although, I'm going to read this again, although we do have evidence, meaning we as a society, the academia, the Society of Academia, although I don't know why I laughed, because I saw JJ 7 Felonies in here, so but most of us can be considered, I guess, the Society of Academia. Although we have evidence for the education of scribes from other periods in Mesopotamian history. Early second millennium BCE, known as the Old Babylonian period, has produced a great deal of textual and archaeological evidence for scribal education. Now remember that. So the early Old Babylonian period, I mean, not the early, hold on, the early second millennium BCE, which is 2000 to 1600 BCE, known as the Old Babylonian period, has produced a great deal. So a substantial amount of texts, Sumerian texts, and different artifacts. So a lot of archaeological digs that were done are finding that the information that they're uncovering is from the Old Babylonian period, right? All right, so moving right along. I'm going to skip forward to this part of the book that says a short history of research. This should be good, guys. Ladies and gentlemen. All right, let's listen to this. I hope you, since you're probably doing your day working, I know. Oh, peace, tropical spice. Sakina said even fish travel in schools, right? Okay, got it. Okay, ladies. So, right. Okay, so let's read this part of the book that says a short history of research. We like this, right? Because we source up or shut up, correct? So in 1979, when Mesopotamian scribal education in the Old Babylonian period peaked, the interest of scholars, Herman Van Stifo explained why he thought the topic was important to revisit. Now, if his name is not pronounced Van Stifo, I apologize to Mr. Van Stifo. Quote, here's his quote. It follows that the question of how Sumerian was taught and learned is legitimate. Okay, let me read that again. Quote, it follows that the question of how Sumerian was taught and learned is legitimate. Quite apart from the intrinsic value of the question and its solution, may have for the light it could possibly shed on ancient principles of language teaching and indeed contrastive linguistics, unquote. So 4 decades have passed since then, and the importance of understanding, quote, how they learned Sumerian has been clearly demonstrated time and time again. Indeed, the corpus of Old Babylonian Sumerian literature, so the body that they've put together, scholars, one of the richest good morning. One of the richest sources, good morning. Yes, I'm reading a book. It is interesting, actually, by Josh Bowen. It's about ancient Babylonian.
And you know about how the reflex points on the roof of your mouth work?
No.
You know how your feet have reflexology points?
Yeah.
I studied Kundalini Yoga, and part of the training was talking about, the mantras and stuff, how it touches the top of your mouth.
Okay.
So there are reflex points on the top of your mouth. That's why some of those languages have the specific.
Wow, come closer. I want my audience to hear you. Because that's very interesting. Okay, so one of my neighbors is coming by with his dog and he wants to say something.
There are reflex points in the top of your mouth. I learned this while studying Kundalini Yoga. It's similar to the reflex points in the bottom of your feet. So as you say the mantras, you're stimulating the reflex points in learning to pray. The mantras, they create thought patterns. Like for me, because I wear dentures, it affects it. Yeah, I have sleep apnea. I have a deviated septum.
Yeah.
It causes sleep apnea. So if you're snoring, get a sleep study. Get on CPAP because it causes AFib.
Wow.
Overactive bladder.
GERD.
Oh, I have achalasia.
Oh wow.
I would reflux to the point where it would come up and food would go in my lungs, and I would wake up with aspirated
That's
pneumonia.
really serious.
Very, very serious. So get off all the sleeping pills, the prazolams, all that stuff. You should be sleeping sober.
Yeah.
Because what happens is you fall asleep, you stop breathing because you're sedated. You don't wake up in time.
Exactly.
Your oxygen drops very low.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
do you live in here?
No, I live actually on, well, I don't want everybody to know, but I live in Camelback.
Okay.
But you're still my neighbor.
Yeah,
It's not far from here.
I live in here.
Oh, do you like it?
It's cheapest rent in Phoenix. It's like living in a forest.
Are you serious? I love it. Yeah, it does
You
look
see
like
all
that.
the trees over there.
I was just telling my audience
It's
how
the cheapest
beautiful.
rent in Phoenix. It's 65-year-old. The ficus trees are 65 years
Oh,
old.
wow.
The man who built this place had run for governor. He wanted a safe, reliable place. You go down, you see all those trees. This is an extension, but the other part is.
It's really peaceful. You know, I wait for them to open natural.
That's what I'm
grocery.
doing.
Are you doing that?
Yeah, I'm doing my hunter gathering. I come right through here and I look through there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. This is
Are you from the East Coast? I hear an
Yeah,
accent. You're from New York. Who isn't from New York, guys? Who isn't from New York? Who like? It's like all the great minds are from New York. Oh my gosh, what's your name?
Bill.
Bill. Okay, my name is Napa. My audience is listening to you.
How many people are there?
Right now I have 24.
Woohoo!
But
Who's the furthest? Who's the furthest away from us?
we have one of my sisters in there. Her name's Lady Kier, and her husband live in North Carolina.
Okay.
I don't know who's in New York. I think I have my brother Reese is in New York.
In New York.
Ben Frank. New York, yeah. Brooklyn, Manhattan, Harlem.
Oh, I used to run the roller disco at Central Park.
Oh, you did?
If anyone went at Central Park in the summer and they saw the skater,
That was you? When's the last time you were back?
08.
Oh, that's a long time.
I don't like to travel
Gosh, that's
unless I
funny.
can go first class.
You sound just like somebody I know. Son Etter.
Well, I
He doesn't like to fly.
I don't blame him. I used to be in the Navy. I fixed jets. I've been around the world, go home on from both directions, and I used to fix jets. So it's like the chef in the kitchen doesn't.
You're just tired of it. What's your dog's name?
JD, just dog. He's a rescue from the Humane Society. He was neglected.
He's beautiful.
He's beautiful now, but he was a monster before.
Oh, really?
Oh, he was neglected for 7 years.
He had a bad disposition.
He was abused.
Yeah, most animals that are in shelters, if they're older, even the puppies are abused.
What happened was I finally got a picture of him. They had let his hair mat over his
Mangle,
eye,
yeah.
and so he couldn't see.
Oh, poor baby.
Oh yeah, he's afraid of men.
He's afraid of men because why? Probably a
He
man
was
beat him.
kicked.
Oh, that's sad.
It's like if I just touched him with my feet, he
Yeah.
would react. Now he's much better, but when I come off the lazy,
How long have you had him?
Sundays a year.
Oh, he's sweet.
Nice animal picture.
Yeah, he's nice. I love the way he look. Well, everybody, I'm looking at him. He's very well groomed, and he's such a good boy. So I'll be seeing you around. I always come. You know, I actually walk on Central from Camelback to Dunlap. That's my exercise.
Yeah, I'm gonna do this, and then I go to
Oh, that's nice. Nice meeting you. Say your. Oh wait, my memory. Bill, how can I forget Bill? I'll see you around. Thank you for that information because I'm gonna expound on that. It is now 8:54. They should be open, right? Yes, 3 minutes. Okay, see you later. Thank you. Wow, he's such a nice man. Okay, I have nice neighbors. Peace there, everybody. So yeah, that's interesting what he said about the roof of the mouth. Because that's true. If you just take your tongue, everybody, we all have a tongue, thank goodness, and feel the roof of your mouth, there's all kinds of different bumps and like the texture is always different for everybody. You can even look. Oh God, I look at my teeth right now, y'all. Don't you guys hate this? So I was talking to him the whole time and I had, oh my God, a raspberry seed right in my teeth, Lord. Oh, I just looked in the mirror. Oh, well, I had a smoothie earlier. A raspberry seed was in my teeth. Oh, well, it doesn't matter. So he was saying the roof of your mouth, it has different points, like reflexology or reflexive points, and that makes sense. I've studied reflexology in the feet, but I never, and other parts of the body, but I never knew or even stopped to think about the roof of my mouth for some reason, which makes sense. Why would I not even think about that? See, I'll admit when I don't know something, because this is your head and this is your speech. This is the part that you use the most for prayer. You should be using your whole body, but you use this part the most, your mouth. So it would make sense. I know, right? The seed, the little seed in my teeth. Isn't it like that all the time? I mean, obviously, I brushed my teeth this morning, then I went out, did my a couple errands, got my smoothie done. Like, rewind, got my smoothie done, went out while I'm running my errands for my day, drinking the smoothie, and then there was a smoothie seed in my teeth. But anyway, so isn't that interesting? Peace. Good morning, Max Bird and Tropical Spice. We can think about those points on the roof of our mouths, and it does affect our prayer. Everything is frequency. Okay, I think I read enough of the book. Maybe I'll touch on it later some more. But everything is sound and frequency, and just like an instrument, like a guitar or steel drums. In fact, the roof of your mouth is similar. It looks similar to a steel drum. Y'all know what I'm talking about? Peace, Nathan. Peace, Nathan Yacob, blessed supplanter. The roof of your mouth, doesn't it look similar to like a steel drum? Right? Like, especially the front part. I always thought that when I was a little girl. When I would see the steel drum, yes, it does, right? You know how you can feel right behind, like where your front teeth are, like right above your front teeth, right behind your lips, your top lip. You can feel like that part of your mouth that you use. And in more how do you say, more indigenous languages like African languages, and even some languages in the so-called Middle East, they use a lot of guttural sounds. They use parts of their mouths that we don't use as English speakers. English is a lazy language. Like, for instance, in Persian, I speak Farsi. So in Persian, you say "gazo." That's how you say food. Gazo. You hear the "ga." We don't have a "ga" in English. And even in some of the, I think it's Swahili, they do the clicks and they go, like they'll say something like, I don't know the language, but it's like I've heard them like or and they say and then they click like you know what I mean? Like that'll be a part of a word. We don't have anything that's guttural like that and elaborate and complex in English. Let me see what Lamont says. Nepal, can you do a show on illegal marriage? How people marry for money, fame, and special privilege? That would be fire. But it's not illegal though. If someone marries, I mean, this is a stream I was reading. I'm talking about the book and spirituality in school, but I can definitely do a stream on marriage. People marry for different reasons, you know. So everybody's not out there marrying for love. So that's a great topic, though. Yes, I can do that. Where are you going, Sakina? Let me see it. It says safe travels. I'm sorry, Queen. I catch up soon. About to hit the road. Okay. Peace to you. Have a beautiful day. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for joining us, Goddess Sakina. Sakina Ross, sweet. She has a beautiful face, and she's always dropping that deep. Sometimes she be listen. She gets deep diving to where I'll be like, let me sit back and think about that, and then later on I'll say, oh, okay, now I got it. So I appreciate her. She's definitely one of the darkest minds of the light. I understand now. We can't jump to conclusions about anything. I'm talking about the marriage and the people and the teachings that we each do. I think we all have to stop and take a deep breath, count to 10. I know I do a lot of times. I'm going to have a cashew really quickly. Peace, Tycoon Show. Yeah, I actually drove over here. Natural Grocer. If anybody lives in Phoenix, it's on Indian School. But I don't live too far from here. But the place he was talking about, there's so many awesome people in from New York. But the place he was talking about is really like a nice place. This isn't really the historic district for the houses, but it's not far away from the historic district. Pretty much I'm in Central Phoenix. I'm dropping my location. What does it say? I'm dropping my Addy. I'm just kidding. Cashews are so delicious. Honey roasted? No. They're roasted sea salt. They're delicious. Because all I had was a smoothie and now I'm having these. So yeah. English is a lazy language. That's why everyone who speaks English should practice languages that are more guttural, more, more languages of the indigenous people or the aboriginal people. Even the indigenous people here, they say things like nkasta or iskasa. Like they get into the back of the throat, in the back of the mouth, and then into the throat even. But like I said, I know Farsi, and I'll meet you there soon. Oh shit. Who is this? Don't come up on me like that. You're being funny, I know. Peace to you, reality truth. There are so many people who are, it doesn't matter what the area is, there are so many meth people, not meth, help me out, fentanyl people. You can always tell out here who's on fentanyl, who's on meth. Crackheads aren't in the street anymore. They have homes. I'm serious. Crack people who use crack, they have homes. They go do their crack and go home. They have jobs. It's the fentanyl addicts and some meth addicts who don't have homes. It's interesting. Of course, I'm speaking in general. Because they don't, you know why, family? They choose not to. The fentanyl has them so far gone that they just they don't want to go home. And when they're home, they just want to do fentanyl. So their family doesn't want them around. And it's not like meth and crack. You do fentanyl the wrong way or leave it somewhere, somebody end up dead. You know? Bill was talking earlier about, losing oxygen in sleep. Fentanyl can can kill people. Well, it has killed people. I have very good friends who've died, tran- transitioned, but I say death. See, I use the word death. I usually don't use it, but I say die because it's just such a waste and it's traumatizing. But they transitioned because of overdoses, and they weren't bad people, or they aren't bad people. One thing about the people who live outside in the street, for the most part, they get up early. They get up with the city. They're up with the city. They're up when the city's sleeping, but usually they're up when the city's waking up. It's interesting. She's been Frank, and these are people's family. I mean, yeah, because it does cause mental illness a lot. These mind altering drugs. I'm cautious, but I'm guilty of locking the door when a couple people walking by in my car and lock my car door. But these are still people. That drug is hard. That fentanyl is hard. It's hard drug. Peace no saying it was created and put out here to call the call the herd, so to speak. Anybody know what calling means? To call the herd? The calling of the herd means to thin the herd out. Thin the herd out. So, yeah. What came out of nowhere? What I'm talking about? Oh, fentanyl. Yes. Well, I'm gonna. I'm waiting. I'm so weird. Let me tell you about. I want you guys to know how I am. The guy that talked to me. He's so cool. He's great. I loved his information. It was like he could be an angel for all I know. It's very spiritual, but I don't like I know he's inside of the store I want to go to, so I'm waiting for him to come out because I don't like to talk to him again. Who's like that? Am I the only one like this? Let me see. Put him on in the chat. I'm kind of driving away. You know what I mean? Like he's awesome. He's an awesome guy, but does that make sense? Like you meet a stranger, you talk a little bit, and then you part ways. And then you don't want to see them again and start talking again. Am I the only one? I'm a weirdo? Am I a weirdo? What am I? Antisocial? I'm not antisocial. I'm just seeing. Is anybody like me? Oh, yeah, you're like that. I knew Lady Kiera would get it. I knew you'd get it, Queen. Yeah. I mean, I don't have anything. I like the man. He's great, but keep on talking. I don't want to get to know you like that. And it doesn't mean anything about him. Oh, there he is. I'm waving. Hi. Have a good day. Oh, I will. I'm parking. Thank you. He told me to wear my seatbelt. He's so funny. See? He saw me anyway. Damn. Couldn't even avoid him. No, he's cool. He's a cool guy. He said, wear your seatbelt. Great character. Okay, so I was trying to avoid him, but at least I was in my car, though. Especially as a female. Yeah, he's nice, though. I mean, but yeah, I don't, even male or female, it's a weird, like, okay, we talked. Now let's move. I guess it's from living in bigger cities because it's not really like that here. Like, not just New York. I lived in, like, London, and I lived in Milan, Italy. Now they're nice there. They talk a lot, but I think maybe I don't know. He's a nice man though. He got his groceries, okay. And now I just saw him carrying a bag. I forgot to bring my bag, which is very annoying because they don't give you bags in this store. You have to bring your own bag, darling. You have to be conscious of it. Yeah, it's good. We shouldn't keep on using plastic bags. I mean, we should reuse them if we're going to have them, right? And München. Yeah, I did live in München, Germany. Yes, I told you that before. He wasn't trying to avoid you. Yeah. He's nice. He went back into his little gated community there. Alrighty, now I will go in here. If you really want to know what I'm going to get, well, you don't, I'm going to tell you. I'm going to get some coconut water on some kombucha because I don't make it anymore. I stopped making kombucha. Damn, it's weird. I haven't made it it has to be, I think I haven't made it since 2021. Damn. No, not that long. Maybe. I used to be the kombucha making queen, but now I just buy it. And they don't even put the mother. The bottles of kombucha that they sell now, there's not even a mother in there. So, the SCOBY part, like the what is it, the residue or the sediment, the thick part, the mushroom, whatever you guys call it, the thing that's at the bottom of the bottle or in the batch that makes while the drink is fermenting. I got to get back on my teaching about mushrooms too. However, let's get back to, let me close it out with, if you're in Phoenix, please don't run up on me in the store. Even if you want to come say hi, I'm in public. I just, you know what I mean? It's like, okay, I don't know you. Keep your distance. But I love people. I love people. Anyway, where was I? Oh, school and church. The priest and the professor, they're one and the same. Even if you're an atheist like my brother, no saint, you can still appreciate the study of the minds of those who conceptualize a God. Right, no saint? Right, atheist friends? Yes, I know you do, Ben Frank. Peace to you. I love them also. Okay, so the teaching of especially ancient religions, ancient spirituality. Now, do I want to have the OWASP up in my face while I'm my kid or my children's or anyone's children's face in a classroom? No. But the OWASP is a new religion. It's a new concept. When I say teaching of no separation, I mean the study of basic ancient religions, different types of movements and modalities, modes of spiritual practice. Like what he even mentioned to us about the roof of the mouth. That was a learning experience. I don't subscribe fully to yoga teachings and things about Kundalini, but I know it's an ancient, very ancient spiritual art. So I would want my children learning about Hinduism, all the Abrahamic religions, Zoroastrianism, or I always have a problem with that, but I think it's Zoroastrianism, right? Zarathustra. Killer Priest taught me how to say that. He says I can't say Zarathustra. Basically, the oldest religion ever is Zoroastrianism. Yeah, Zoroastrianism. So I would want my children to learn about Zoroastrianism and Babylonian, Sumerian teachings. So what else? All the ancient religions, Hinduism, I said that. And different types of African practices. I want my children to learn about that too. Yes, voodoo, 100%. African spiritualities, all types of spiritual Buddhism. These are all ancient spiritual teachings, and we can't really, just to top this off, because it was taught along with the rhythmic, right? It was like the same spirituality and arithmetic were one and the same. Because of that, it can be studied with that understanding, the Sumerian writing, the Medinetter, the even the Hebrew. Those are still spiritual characters. The word, I'm talking about the letters. There's spiritual characters. There's spiritualism in there. But there's also the ancient culture in their letters as well. It's a blend. And the more, I guess you say, advanced we think we become, we want to just throw away something that's so rich and so informative in ancient cultures, which is spiritualism. So I think it's awesome. I don't think people should be, I'm not going to say think. I know schools shouldn't proselytize. Hell no. Don't tell my children what to believe. I hate that. I hate that. Don't tell me. I cannot stand Christians that talk about, and Hebrew Israelites and Muslims who talk about God's not going to save you because you don't believe like me. That's so archaic. No, I don't want to. I almost disrespected archaic. That's so ignorant. So anyway, peace to the darkest minds of the light. Yes, spiritual is the oldest ism. Peace to everybody. Have a good day. Let's do a little bit more research while I am on the roof of the mouth. I'm going to start going into that today when I have some time. I'll go to the library and see. Not the delicious library, which is very yummy. I love libraries. I'm going to go to the library. I love people. A lot of people say library, which doesn't make you not intelligent. It's just the lazy language. You see, family? Because the way we speak English speaking people don't, the ones with English as a first language, they don't want to take the time to do the brah because it's like too much work. Library. So they say library. Or someone that might say artists. They don't want to take the time to do the t's at the end. Artists. So they just say, oh, different artists. And sometimes some people say artists. I have a friend who says, I've boughten. It makes me think, was boughten like the original? But it's I bought. I have bought. I have boughten. Oh no, that's a different subject though. She says that because she thinks it's supposed to be E-N. Like it. How do you say? Boughten. What's the word? Gosh, I can't think of one. Oh, flatten? No, that's not one. That flatten is not one. Stop. That's like often, Nepal. I can't think of a word that would have E-N after you use the article have. Anyway, let me stop. The utmost says, peace to the Queen Nepal. I think you can teach the proper classes on polygyny. We need that more. However, it's only designed for those who can receive it. Everyone can't handle polygamy. Thank you, Utmost. That's true. Abstract. Abstract says, instead of saying library or library, Abstract says, I just say that big old building with the word pages. Oh gosh. On that note, peace, much love. And no, Saint, for some reason I couldn't find your channel. Is it, how many subscribers do you have? Send me the link to my email so I can go find your channel and subscribe. Because when I hit on your, oh, that's why I didn't hit on your icon. I was about to tell a lie. I just typed in no Saint. So I know abstract is hilarious. Laughing is the best therapy for everything. If you're sick, if you're depressed, if you just are super stressed and you feel your cortisol levels are off the chart, please turn on some comedy that can make you laugh. Please. I love laughing. Peace to you, Greg Phillips. Peace to you. And we will now move on with our day. I might do a stream of marriage later on. All right. Peace to the darkest minds of the light. Have a beautiful day. Try to vibrate high. Pray for me. Send me positive frequencies. Get on my frequency. Send me positive vibes so I can ignore the mentally ill people like Neo X and Dudu Nas, the Thunderdome Nights, because they are very sick people who all they do is just sit on the internet and talk about people. Help me. Help me. Wilmy Riggs, I love that part. Off of Lethal Weapon, when Danny Glover's looking for Mel Gibson, the character Riggs. And it's like a crowded club, like hundreds of people. And he's like, oh no, that's not true. That's my sister used the joke when she was we were looking for, or she was looking for my other sister in a club. They had been supposed to meet up. And my sister was on the phone with me and she was looking for my other sister and she's like, I can't find her. And then she's like, Wilmy Riggs. Wilmy Riggs. If you know that, Riggs was, I forgot. Riggs was in the water. He had fallen in the ocean. And Danny Glover couldn't find him anywhere to save his life. You remember that, y'all? Remember that, Ben Frank? Danny Glover couldn't find him at all. I gotta find that clip and play it for you guys. That is so hilarious. My sister, I come from, I have a sense of humor. I come from a family, we're all funny. My sister was looking for my other sister and she was getting stressed out. She's like, where is she? I won't find her. There's hundreds of people in here. And then she started going, Wilmy Riggs. But she was trying to have my sister get it, like, Wilmy, find me, send me a vibration. So, yeah, he found him, though. He found him in the ocean, bless his heart. All right. Oh, real quick. Hold on. I gotta find this movie and put the link. I went out. I just got to post this comment. Okay, go watch The Sound of Freedom. It's based on a true story. There's a man out there who actually saves children who are sex trafficked. I want you to go look at that. And Sonetter is live, I think. So, can you guys hear me? Put a 1 in the chat if you can hear me. You can't hear me? You said no. Okay, that's funny. I get you. You're trolling me, Nathan. All right, peace, family. Peace and love. Go watch that movie and check out Sonetter's Live. And please don't forget to like and subscribe. Mwah. Peace.